Hey guys, do we have a cool show for you tonight? So glad you could join us for another exciting featured guest. And who knows, could get just a wee bit crazy. As of our time, it is September 27th, 2022. I'm Santa Bob McMasters. This is Tuesday Night Live. I want to say thank you to everyone either watching us live or via a replay. Please give a warm welcome to my co-host in studio tonight, the Rambling Man, StufferSanta.com and SchoolofSantas.com, very own Santa Spangle.
You're muted.
No, I'm not. I just wanted to mess with everybody. Hello, everybody. You finally got the shed spangle up for a minute.
There you go. How about that? Hey, that's a first.
Hello, Bob.
Hello. All right, so everyone please say hi to the third part of our team, our show producer, Angela Max. She's in the background over here, putting the show on as always.
Somewhere here.
Hello, Angela.
She's over waving. This week's Tuesday Night Live show is our 39th episode, this of being season 2, and another first because we are excited to say hello to my co-host of Mondays 3 p.m., the Bob Randall and Company live show, Randall Santa Checker Lee.
I don't know where Spangle went.
Uh-oh, Spangle ran away. I kicked him out. Oh, my goodness, I didn't want to take it. Come on, Spangle, get back here. I didn't want you to leave. Is it something I said?
Oh, you put the magic hoodoo on him, didn't you?
Woo, would you? Michael Howell understand that one.
So, Randy being our special guest co-host, I mentioned yesterday on the show that he and I do on Mondays at 3 p.m. He is the co-host tonight. There's Spangle back. Fantastic. All right, guys, so let's move along. Our featured guest for this week is funny, multi-talented, wears many hats, and, we got him hog-tied over there in the green room, so stick around. But first, we got to mention this. The Tuesday Night Live show can be found on YouTube as well as Facebook at The Tuesday Night Live Show. And for your convenience, all our shows are recorded for later viewing. Please visit, drop us a comment, a like, a share, throw us a subscribe if you like what we're doing. We do appreciate you. Couldn't do this without you. The first half of tonight's Tuesday Night Live show trivia is brought to you by Derek Dugan's Sleigh Driver Apparel Company. I want to say thank you to Derek, and we'll be back on the other side of this. All right, so Randall's going to do our first trivia question tonight. Over to you, Randall.
Oh, man, this is a great question because it is just about Halloween time, less than a month away for that spooky night. So this question's, I'm going to add one more thing at the end, but we are only looking for one answer. What is the famous magician that died on Halloween? And, of course, what day of the year was it? I think that was answered part of the question. But also, where did he die? That's what I'm going to add in there. Where did he die?
Very good. So what day of the week and what year was it? We know it was Halloween. Everyone knows what day that is. So we need to know who the magician is, and day of the week, and what year. And go ahead and start working on that. Put your answers over into the comment box as we always do here on Tuesday Night Live. We will reveal the correct answer along with the other trivia that we will do in the middle of the show towards the end of the show once we have picked the true winner for each one of those. All right, so one more time, Randy, read it again.
Yeah. What was the famous magician who died on Halloween, and what day of the week was, and what year? Also, what year was it? And it's always fun to put in the city. I think it's a lot of us here have kind of a close connection with that. Maybe not on this page, but.
And of course, most folks know, and if you don't, tonight's guest, along with you, are residing in the Michigan, state of Michigan. So this was a great question for tonight's guest and for you. Fantastic. All right, guys, go ahead and submit your answers. Work on that. We're going to go ahead and do the outside of this commercial and be back in just a moment.
The first half of tonight's Tuesday Night Live show is brought to you by Derek Dugan's Slave Driver Apparel Company. You can find Derek's store on Etsy.com/shop/Slave Driver Apparel or contact Derek Dugan for all your custom apparel needs. Now back to our show with Bob Spangle and Angela. This is Tuesday Night Live.
Wow, do we have a treat tonight, guys? Tonight's featured guest comes straight to us, literally, from where the deer are born. Yes, that's right, Dearborn, Michigan. He is an active member of the MAPS group, Michigan Association of Professional Santas. And I was up there not too long ago. Man, them guys know what they're doing. And is also known as Herbie the Elf, as well as Santa. Please welcome tonight's featured guest, Michael Beurer.
Yeah. There he is.
Hi, hogtied.
Help me! Well, hello everyone, and how are you?
Raise the roof. Michael has arrived. Herbie is here.
This is going to be so much fun. I can hardly wait to get into the meat of this interview, and it's so wonderful to see you, Bob and Randall, and of course you, Spangle. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Interview. Didn't they tell you this was a roast?
Well, that could be fun too. Because, let me tell you, I'm really close to Santa's list, and he's got the scoop on all y'all.
Uh-oh.
That's true. I said it could get a little bit crazy. Well, here we go. All right, so welcome, Michael. So great to finally have you on the Tuesday Night Live show. Something we've wanted for a long time. You know, the schedule is long, but, trying to line up guests week in and week out, it gets hectic, and there's only so many, folks each season, but we're glad to have you. We always like to get to know our guests on a personal basis to start off with. So I'm going to kick it over to Randy and let him start off with the first question.
Takes you way back when you were just a wee little elf there, Herbie. Thinking back when you're youth, when you're young, what was your favorite toy you got from Santa? What was your favorite thing that brought you the most joy? And were you totally surprised, or did you peek a little bit, unwrap those packages, young man? Santa knows you did. And how old were you when you had that one, just fantastic present? So
now we got to dig underneath a few stones to remember this one. But if it was up to me, one of the best gifts I ever received from Santa at Christmas was a 4-foot styrofoam ship. Now, what made this ship really special was it had a little helicopter that you had 2 little joysticks to actually make it fly over and pick up things. Oh, this was the best thing ever. I went everywhere with it. And I'll never forget, because Mom told me, now, little Herbie, you have to be careful because you're going to trip and fall. And wouldn't you have it? I went running down the street with it, carrying it like my life depended on it, tripped and fell on a crack of cement and broke it in half. To this day, and I was about 7 years old. So roughly the last 45 years, I've been trying to find this crazy boat again, and I could never find it. But that's probably one of the best things I got. Now, if you ask my brother and sister, they would probably say the chemistry set, but for some reason, things just kept blowing up. So that's where we get the hustle and wuzzle aspect from, of blowing things up and creating those wonderful elf-made objects for Santa.
Wow, cool. Yeah.
I think we need to pray for your mom.
She could use all the help she can get sometimes.
Right, we all can. So, Michael, what types of hobbies have you had outside of the Christmas community?
Well, I've lived many lifetimes there, Spangle, and some of them just. And again, I'm an open book, so anybody out there in Facebook land or any comments, just go ahead and ask. But I am an avid movie buff. I love the movies. I love to read, and my authors are eclectic, but my favorite author is Anne Rice. But in the process, I love drama. I love the theater. In fact, when I graduated from high school, I turned down a scholarship to theater to Wayne State, Michigan, or Wayne State University here, because I enlisted in the Navy at 16 years old. Yes, most people look at me 16. Yep, all I had to do was graduate from high school, and I was in 6 weeks after graduation. But because of that, I joined a theatrical combat group. I'm probably one of the few people, many of you may know, that can actually fight with real swords. And I do have a large collection of swords sitting in my basement as well. I'm a huge cartoon buff. Bugs Bunny is my favorite of all times. And if you were to come to my home, you would actually be surrounded by original production cells. I've had the fortunate opportunity to meet Chuck Jones, the McKimson brothers, a variety of voice actors such as Rob Paulson. It's been amazing. What other fun things? I guess for me, the most fun that I've done in a long time, which leads me into this profession right here. I love Christmas. I love the history. I love the people. And I just love what it can bring to everybody around the world. It seems whenever somebody's shy or upset, a little Christmas carol here or there, a little Christmas card that you may have left over is a wonderful, wonderful gift that you should always keep on hand.
Very nice. So what would be your favorite Christmas song that instantly makes you think of Christmas?
Well, let's see here. I just got this asked recently, and for me, it's not really one song, but for me, it's a band, and that's Pentatonics. It just seems when they come out with those a cappella music at Christmas time, like What Child Is This? Mary, Did You Know? It immediately puts me into that Christmas spirit, and I just can't wait to share it with everybody. As a working DJ, I kind of slip those in during my dinner hours and things like that when I do shows and during Christmas when I'm not Santa or Herbie. All kinds of fun things.
Very
How
cool.
about you guys? How about you? What's your favorite songs?
Here Comes Santa Claus.
That's an awesome one. I do love that one.
Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is always.
Oh, that's a good one too.
It's always been one of my favorite, you know.
And how about you, Bob?
I want to get that tear. It's always Silent Night on Christmas Eve, you know. Want to get those chills, you know.
Yeah. For me, I can't say because that is actually part of the show later on. So if I say it, might give it away. So I'm going to have to wait until we talk about it, and then I'll, remember that was my favorite.
So then I'll go and talk about the next question.
Okay.
So when you talk about movies, you said you love movies.
Yes.
What is your favorite Christmas movie, and why? Give a brief little reason why.
I'm sure with all the guests that you've had, you probably got a good range, wide spectrum of different Christmas movies. But for me, it's 2 Pixar animated shorts, Prep and Landing, the story of Wayne and Lanny, and oh my goodness, they made 3 of them. You have a good system with the Coal Elves and Santa's Secret Santa with Betty White playing the voice of Mrs. Claus. Oh, they're wonderful, and they're really cute, and they can get you into that joyous spirit. But if you had to force me to a movie, I would probably have to say How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Illumination. The same people that brought the Minions to you, but that one is up too. So that's me. Now, here's a cool little story I learned from Chuck Jones. Now, you all familiar with the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, after Dr. Seuss came in and started looking at the preliminary drawings, because the original was directed by Chuck Jones, he looked at Chuck and goes, "Chuck, why is the Grinch drawn like you?" So remember that. There's a really cool things that go on behind cartoons like that.
Let's hope it really didn't look like him. That's kind of scary. That's
It had to be those crazy eyebrows.
Yeah,
It was
maybe
the
that's what it
eyebrows.
was only, or maybe that the hair that curled, or
Exactly. But that's probably my favorite movies right there.
well, very cool.
I've
Now,
seen
if
a
I,
few people with those eyebrows, and they're always like real eccentric type people, you know?
exactly. But those eyebrows can have so much emotion into them that it's just wonderful. I wish mine were kind of like that, especially doing Santa a few times to get them to dance. Oh, that would just make kids just come up to you. Exactly. Randall's got it down. There you go.
I'm not going to go see Santa no more.
I have a thought here.
Who
Who else would have played the Grinch if Jim Carrey had not done it? I mean, that role was almost made for Jim Carrey. He made the Grinch, into a real life type of character. But who do you guys think might have been a good character in Hollywood to play that
Oh.
if Jim hadn't done it?
If Jim
think
hadn't done it,
years ago, Jerry Lewis could have done it years ago.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers Jerry Lewis.
Right.
Hey, ladies.
I think John Wayne and he would have stole Christmas.
Let's see here. If it wasn't Jim Carrey, who would it be? That's a difficult one.
It is. Because that role just seemed like it was made for Jim,
Well, did you ever hear behind the scenes?
No.
See, you could get a bunch of little fun things. Jim Carrey did an interview on BBC television about how the Grinch Stole Christmas, and that was one of the worst movies he ever made because he literally was in makeup for like 15 hours, and it started making him claustrophobic. So the studio literally hired a CIA interrogator to come in and teach Jim Carrey certain techniques to get out of his mind so he wasn't thinking about being underneath all that yak hair and green makeup.
Wow.
So he's like, if I would have read my contract, I would never have done it.
Yeah, being in that much makeup all the time, just like the Tin Man and things, so much makeup for so long, it affected their skin.
Exactly.
Now,
Hey, what about us white-faced clowns?
Oh yeah, definitely same thing. Yep. But there's some really good comments in the comments section. People are saying like Red Skeleton or Robin Williams, but I think Robin Williams would have been done much better with an animated version rather than live action. Because I'm thinking the genie from like Aladdin. Could you imagine what he would come up with? Oh my goodness.
Well, anyways, Michael, as things go, we are usually asked by someone we know to don the red suit for the first time. What year was for you, and how it came about that you were asked to do it?
Well, this is always a fun question, and I owe it all to my lovely wife. In 2018, my wife she is a photographer, and she just loves to take pictures. And at the same time, what ended up happening, she says, you know what? I need somebody to fill in a Santa suit. And you have the bill to fill into a Santa suit. Would you want to do it? And I was like, sure, why not? It should be a lot of fun. And after the first child came in for that little mini session, I was hooked. I mean, the costume was what I like to refer to as the walrus beard. It was the mustache connected to the beard that was all made out of plastic. You couldn't even see my mouth. The wig came all the way down, so all you basically saw was a nose. But it didn't matter. The children were just so wonderful, and they just were looking at you in awe because why? You were Santa. And it just goes to prove, Santa's not about the look. It's what's in your heart and what you can actually portray through that.
Amen.
But yeah, it was all because of my wife, and that's how I came with Santa. The following year, 2019, I found Charles W. Howard and been a fan ever since.
And more on Charles W. Howard here in a moment.
Oh yeah, we'll talk all about that. We can talk about that all night long then.
Yeah, second show we'll get into that. But you know what, Michael, let's do something a little bit different here. Since we have your Maps partner in crime with us tonight, let's put him in the hot box for one question. Michael, I'm going to let you ask Randy a question.
Oh, goody. All right, Randy, as Herbie the Elf. Well, Santa Randall, you have many, many talents with entertaining. What seems to be your most embarrassing moment that you ever had as an entertainer? Now, it just doesn't have to be Santa related, because I know you're also the wizard as well.
Wow. Boy, it's crazy. There's a lot of them. Sorry to say. I'll go back. I'll go back all the way first when I was 16 years old. I'll start a real quick one back then. I was 16 years old doing my clown character Checker. In fact, I think Jim Tate is on here too. And Professor Bluno was there at the auto show. Detroit here has the auto show every year because we're auto here in Detroit. And it was a circus theme by M&M International Circuit Productions. And I got up on stage. You know, the old models that used to, stand there. This is the new Avanti or the new Ford, the new whatever. Well, they would get up there and dance. And I'm in my clown suit. And they had me come up and dance. And I'm dancing and dancing and dancing. And I kicked my leg up and ripped the seat of my pants from stem to stern. And of course, when you're 15 years old, back in the middle 70s, tighty whities. Sorry. So that was probably one of the most embarrassing ones way back then. And I know this is TMI for everybody that's out there. I haven't worn tighty whities since. I haven't. That was probably one of the first ones. That was a clown one. And this one was probably terrible. I was portraying a national character. Years ago, before the scary Burger King came out, there was a character that looked like Burger King, that was like the Ronald McDonald person compared to, Burger King. And I was doing a city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, actually the biggest city now in Michigan, down right on the stage, thousands, 2,000 people probably. And they were just, and I don't know, I was young and cocky and stupid was one of the things, probably the thing. So I made some comment to my stage manager. He goes, I could probably blow my nose and they would probably applaud Burger King. Of course, I said it to myself and said it to him. And boy, payback is a you-know-what really quick. Well, there's a part of the trick. There's a part of the routine where you sing and dance and you sing and everything. Well, I had this little bag. You shake the bag and you bring it up and it turns into a big silk. Well, I caught my Burger King crown, came down, cracked me on the nose. I'm bleeding from the nose in front of 2,000 people. So I turned back to my stage manager and goes, I need a towel for my nose. The stage manager goes, you're not going to blow your nose in front of these people, are you? It was terrible, terrible, terrible stuff, man. But, you're young and stupid. And, those are probably two of my very most embarrassing moments. I'm sorry to say it. I said them so easily just now. I can't believe it. But I got to go back at you. Herbie, what is yours? Quick. I'd like to hear yours.
There's been so many of them. I know I was actually DJing a wedding. And unfortunately, it was not my embarrassing point, but it shows you that not only in other professions, but in the Santa community, how fast you have to think on your feet. That one of the groomsmen didn't have the right colored socks on. So I literally had to take my socks off and give it to him and do the rest of the day, basically walking around in my bare feet. But like you said, we all have to be adaptable. And that's the wonderful thing about everything. I think for me, one of the biggest ones was doing a virtual visit last year of Santa. And a child literally had me almost stumped. And because we were doing the visit and he wanted to ask a question. And his question was, Santa, how do you get the internet at the North Pole? And it was like, that's a very good question. I haven't even given much thought to that. But then all of a sudden it just struck to me. It's like, well, do you know the Northern Lights? Well, my elf's up here by the name of Quentin. Oh, he is a tech genius. He figured a way to tap into the Northern Lights, which allows us to have all the unlimited internet we can have at the fastest speeds, which allows me to come and speak to you in your own home. And the child bought it. And I was tripping over my own words, but once I actually came out and formulated into my head, it turned out to be wow. So again, this question, I think all of us have a story here, but it's all about adaptability and improvisation. And I think that's the key with everything.
I want Randy to realize that now that he told that story here on this broadcast, it's gone worldwide now. It'll never disappear.
I don't know why I was so free.
It's never going to disappear.
I could have come up with something a little bit less TMI. But,
Good
wait a
stuff.
minute, we're supposed to roast Herbie. Wait a minute.
I don't believe in roasting because I'm an open book.
Yeah, you did
Roast
mention
sounds kind of good. I had some roast chicken for dinner. It was very good. I'd take some more. It was good.
All right, guys, I'll tell you what, at this point, let's take a short breather right here because it's time in the Tuesday Night Live show that we take our halftime break. Give Herbie a chance to regather his thoughts. And we're going to stick around for our special product announcement, so stay with us. That's right. Stop the show. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper Special. And for this week's StuffForSanta.com Showstopper Special, we'll go right over to the bottom right-hand corner to the clown himself, Mr. Spangle.
Hey, guys, this week's Stuff for Santa, the store, StuffForSanta.com, we're offering the Santa badge. We have it in gold and we have silver on our website. These are $75. You mentioned the Tuesday Night Live show. Send me a private message. We're going to get it to you for $40. We're not going to charge you any shipping. And we got a lot of big stuff coming up that you'll be proud to see coming in soon. So anyways, get the badge, $40, no shipping, free shipping, whatever you want to call it, and it's yours. Just message me and we'll get you sent to you.
And this special is good through next Monday, October 3rd. And Spangle is correct when he says he has a lot of new stuff coming out. He is tirelessly working on new product and trying to get as much of it here as he can before the Christmas season. If you haven't been over to StuffForSanta.com and checked out the website, he's updated it. There's a lot of new stuff on there, a lot of stuff that he hadn't put on the website before. It's more up-to-date, more current. Go over and check it out. All right, so at this time, we're going to come back on the other side of this.
You are watching Tuesday Night Live with Bob Spangle and Angela. The second half of tonight's show is brought to you by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need for your Santa and Mrs. Claus professional business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, you just don't need it because it must not exist. So contact Spangle today for all your red suit accessories and more. And be sure and tell everyone where you got all that really cool stuff. Now back to our show with Bob, Angela, and, of course, more Spangle with trivia fun.
All right, guys, we're back. Hey, this week's trivia, we're going to give away one of these badges free. Gold, silver. Bob will let me know who to send it to. Anyways, this week in the new movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, what was the song and the artist's name that was playing while Clark was stuck in the attic watching the 35mm family home movies from Christmas of 1955? All right, get your fingers going, get on them keyboards, and try to find us an answer. Because in the movie of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, what was the song and artist name that was playing while Clark was stuck in the attic watching the 35mm family home movies from Christmas of 1955?
And this is the answer that I diverted on that Herbie asked earlier about our favorite Christmas song. It's just a song that somehow resonated with me, and I've just always really loved it. Of course, I love the Christmas Vacation. Watched it a couple of nights ago. That's where I got the idea for the trivia question here. So, as Spangle said, get those fingers working.
We need the name of the name of the
Need the name of the artist and the name of the
Herbie's
song.
probably tied up again.
And a little bit of trivia tidbit behind the scenes on that. In that particular scene in the attic, Chevy Chase, of course, is locked up in the attic, and the family leaves to go do some shopping. But he pulls out some clothing because he was cold, starts putting things on, and that's when he ran across the old movie films. And on the case itself, it said Christmas 1959. But then during him watching on a sheet that was hanging there in the attic with him that he hung up, it actually had a sign holding said 1955. They behind the scenes, they talked about how there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the National Lampoons that is twisted or crossways or little tidbits that you don't catch unless you really get to watching close. And anyway, that was one little tidbit that I wanted to share with it.
Oh, sure, Bob. Send us all back to Netflix watching it again tonight.
Exactly. All right. So go ahead and submit your answers in the comment box as always, and we will reveal the answer to both trivia questions towards the end of the show. Now then, we've got something super special here. Right now, we've been talking about it now for about 4 or 5 weeks. We want to bring in Santa Scott Parker at this time. We're going to do the Santa custom buckle raffle. Everyone's been waiting for this. If you got in on the raffle, which 25 lucky people did, here's the moment you've been waiting for. Hello, Mr. Parker. How are you?
Wow, look at that ring.
He's acting like Spangle.
Hey, you know what? We can bring him in and let Spangle go. He's good at it. There he goes.
It's got all your stuff, Spangle. There you go. That's good.
Man, I'm beginning to like you. But I don't know if he wins it all or he buys it.
He wins it.
Yeah.
He is our most decorated winner of the show Monday and Tuesday night. So, is your sound working, Scott? No, we're not hearing you. No here. We thought you was playing Spangle there when he was acting up like he wasn't able to be heard.
Talk now. Talk.
Now talk.
No.
Nope, not getting you.
Can you sign?
Well, that's the belt buckle. One of the 25 people are going to win.
Yeah, that is the belt
Somebody's
buckle.
going to win. That is the buckle.
Ask him if he wants to come out.
You want to go out and come back in, Scott, and see if it'll
Log
relink
out
with it?
and log back in.
Yeah, go out and come back in. Angela will bring you back in as soon as it logs back in. Yes, that is the buckle that is up for the raffle tonight. A short back history on that particular buckle. Scott used to live here in Texas for some time, 10 years, I think. He's originally from the Illinois area. He moved back home to kind of help take care of his elderly parents recently, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And he came back to town, and we had a big eat and meet, and he had this particular buckle that he has in his hand, the artist proof #1 with him that day. And I told him, I said, you've got to share that with the community. That is a fantastic buckle. I want one. I'm sure there's other folks that would want one. So he went ahead and had 25 limited edition, each one numbered on the back, and into production. And we sold all 25 between me and Spangle and Scott himself. Got rid of all 25 of them. They were limited edition. They won't be reproduced again. This is the last one left. It's up for grabs. And so that's the history behind it. Here he comes back in. Let's try again, Scott.
Still can't hear you.
Still can't hear. Something's not right. Are you on your computer, brother? On your phone? Goodness.
Hang on a minute. Let's try something.
You're going to call him and put him on speaker?
That's what I'm working on right now.
We had to do that once before, so.
Technology, you got to love it.
Yeah. And he's been on the show before, and everything worked fine. So I don't understand what's going on there. But I was going to say, if worse can't work, he can always go out and use his telephone to link back in.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, let's see if we can just get you going this way.
Yeah, that's fine. There's the buckle. This is randomgenerator.org. We're backing it out.
Tell Spangle to hold it
25
on.
numbers. All right, good luck, everybody. Here we go.
Is it spinning or whatever?
It's spinning now.
All right.
Number 18.
Number 18. Now, Scott, I don't have that list on in front of me. I'm sure you've got it, so tell us who the winner is.
Number 18 is Debbie Henderson.
Congratulations, Debbie.
It will go on Thursday. Thank you, everybody who got into the raffle. Thank you who bought the Santa by Parker buckles. So much appreciated. Thank you, Bob and Spangle, for what you've done with that buckle. Enjoy them, guys.
All right, now Scott, now you got to come up. Buckle by Parker number 2.
I've had a lot of requests for that.
All right.
If it's anything like the first one, of course, I've told this story before. I know there's a lot of new folks watching tonight because of the raffle. But I bought the number 1, the serial number 1, luckily, because Scott was kind enough to let me have that one. But I wore it at the mall this year, and I have never, out of the 6 buckles I have and 9 years at the mall, ever got as many compliments as I got on that particular buckle this year. And the picture does not do it justice. You get that in front of you in your hand, it's absolutely gorgeous. Nicest buckle I've seen.
Thank you, Scott.
Nice, Scott. We'll be talking to you soon, brother. Take care.
We'll see you guys.
Thank you. Great. That's great.
All right, guys, that was fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the second half of tonight's program. Let's just jump right back into the action here and tell us a little bit about your teachings and the different things that you are going to be doing at C.W. Howard in the past, this year, and even mention the reindeer games, because I know a lot of folks watching are interested in the reindeer games that Mitchell Allen and Michael Howe, and I'll let you go ahead. You do it.
Well, I'm really excited. As many of you do know, or maybe don't know, that this Thursday starts the 85th year for Charles W. Howard School here in Midland, Michigan. And I've been very fortunate to work with one of my best friends in the world, Santa Michael Howell, as the Kringle brothers. And we will be bringing training and just a discussion on virtual visits and how important they can be to your Santa season. And when we say virtual visits, we're not just meaning, actual talking to children or families. Virtual visits can be private messages, or even maybe charging your clients the opportunity to have Santa deliver a Christmas card video that you can actually send to all your family and friends, or just simply picking up the telephone and wishing somebody a Merry Christmas. So this is one of the things that we're going to be discussing at Charles Howard this year. And it's also the same that we taught last year. Now, to me, Charles Howard, it will always be a very special place. It was one of the very first Santa schools that I attended. Now, the other big news coming for this weekend is, of course, the reindeer games. Now, for many of you, or some of you, who actually went to Atlanta this year for the iBurbs convention may have heard or even saw it. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to raise money for 2 charities. And the purpose is that Michael Howell will be playing against Mitch Allen of Hire Santa in what we like to call egg Russian roulette. Now, the rules are very simple. There will be 1 dozen eggs presented. 8 are hard-boiled and 4 are raw. Now, Michael and Mitch will then take turns choosing an egg from the dozen carton, and then slamming that egg on top of their heads. And the loser is the first one to break 2 raw eggs on their heads. Now, this is actually going to be happening on Friday after the many field trips that we do have planned with the school. So if you're in the Michigan area or the Midland area, you may want to stop by the Baymont Hotel probably right around 9 o'clock to witness for yourself whether Mitch will actually try to win again this year or this time, or will Michael continue to reign as the champion? So again, but in addition, we are also going to be having an additional 18 eggs, which will actually be sold to the audience, that they will have an opportunity to actually have the egg broken on either Mitch's or Michael's head. And the money raised from this will go towards one of the 2 charities. So, and that's what the Reindeer Games is all about. It's just some good, clean, honest fun. Well, maybe not that clean for Michael and Mitch, of course. But again, it is going to be a very good time. And I, Herbie the Elf, get the great opportunity to MC this and get the crowd going. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time.
Can I buy an extra dozen of those eggs?
You might could get with Mitch and come on down.
Also, Herbie, tell everyone about the side bets that are going on. Kathy Pick is going to match.
Yep. There's 2 individuals. Kathy Fick is one of them who has pledged up to matching $1,000 for Great Lakes Santa. And unfortunately, the other gentleman and his charity escapes my mind, but there's another gentleman who also is pledging $1,000 match for his charity as well. So our goal is to try to actually raise about $2,000 with this event. And then that way it'll be broken evenly among the 2 charities. And of course, Kathy and the other Santa will be able to match the funds. So each charity will get about $2,000. But you know what? The more the merrier. Now, it is my understanding that Mitch posted a link on one of the Hire Santa videos that if you'd like to go ahead and make a donation early, you can go to the Hire Santa page, locate the link, and you'll be able to make a donation without having to go to Midland this year. Or if you just want to say, hey, Herbie, we love you. We want to raise money, and we want to send you money. This will be a great cause because I'm not going to sit here and ask you to send me money.
I think it's something all of our Tuesday night viewers should be doing.
Exactly. I think it's a great opportunity to actually help out the different communities and the different charities that really cater to the actual people in their own community as well.
It's for the children, so it's worth the donation. It's for the children, and that's the bottom line. You guys are just having fun getting eggs on your head, but the bottom line is the money goes to the children, and that's the best.
No. Come on, the bottom line is to get Mitch with a lot of eggs.
That's true.
Hey. Anyways, Michael, give us a rundown on all the different Santa schools and training that you've attended since turning professional. And is there any one particular school that you got on your eyesight? Hint, hint.
Well, as for the wink, wink there, Spangle, it is one of my goals one day to actually come to your school in Branson, Missouri. I've talked to Santa Mel, and she raves about the school. I watched all the videos with all the fun field trips you do in Branson. So your school is one that is actually on my list. But I've been very fortunate to be able to attend the Charles W. Howard, as I said, to go to Atlanta this past April, and to be part of the iBurbs conference that was 4 years in the making, it seems. I've attended Tim Conahan's School for Santas, which is a wonderful course as well. I've also been part of the Santa Claus Workshop by Stuart Deacon Jr., which is a phenomenal class in itself. One of my favorites is Santa and the Driver by Steve Gillum. If you're into storytelling. I just recently am a graduate of the American Clown Academy, or now as known as the American Christmas Performers Academy, done by Lee Andrews. That was a wonderful experience as well. And I've also attended the Brothers Claus with Leon McBride and Steve Gillum as well. And one of my favorites, one of the things that I love the best, I think we just lost Bob.
I needed a
We
break.
didn't even get to say goodbye.
Yeah,
I know. He's
All
like,
right,
I'm gone. One of my favorites, and this might be a question that could come down here in a few, is here in Michigan with MAPS is the Red Suit Conclave. And Spangle, you were there this year. Randall, you've been a big part of it as well. And for all those out there that have heard about it, it's a great 2-day course. And what makes it so much fun, it's free. All you end up doing is providing your own room and your food. But all the training that we offer through MAPS is basically free. We have some vendors there. Like I said, Spangle brought his wonderful trailer with all his fun toys in there, which was a lot of fun. But we try to cover many different items or many different topics in the 2 days time, such as, what to bring in your gig bag and how to use it. Randall does so much with magic that he actually got one lady to jump out of her seat this past year 3 times. And it was all for the same joke. So I don't know if that's the magic of Randall or the lady was just not knowing what she was doing. But at the same time, too, as we discuss a lot of different items, such as improvisational skills, things that a first-year Santa or a Santa that's only been doing this for 1 to 5 years may know, as well as various roundtables. And as we all know, with these type of group settings, a lot of the learning is done back at the hotel. And that's the key here, is because it gives us all an opportunity to come together, to share what works, what doesn't. And if you want to perform, you can perform as much as you want and get that feedback, because why? What's some of the hardest things you gentlemen have in your careers as Santa? And in my personal opinion, it's a simple fact. You cannot go watch another Santa perform. And if you do, you either have to be 3 floors above or different way, and you have to look something like the Grim Reaper because you have to wear a hood to cover everything around yourself. That's why it's my recommendation for all you real bearded Santas out there to have a friend like me. I can go wherever. Nobody's going to ever think I'm Santa. And I can watch you, give you notes, or allow you to perform. And again, I think that's another key thing when you talk about schools are the various groups. There are so many groups. I know the Lone Star Santas is a wonderful group to go through. I've known a couple people from there as well. MAPS, the Magical Fellowship group as well, because it gives us all an opportunity to perform in front of our peers and get that support and to get that fear of performing out. And that's one of the best things. I hope I covered all my schools and everything and my goal with schools.
Yeah, I think you did. And, hint, Spangle threw a hint to you. Throw one back at him. Tell him that you're always available to be an instructor.
If it's within my parameter to do so, I will be more than happy to go where I need to discuss whatever you like. Like I say, I've had many lifetimes, and I will teach. I studied with Second City when I worked for the Detroit Red Wings hockey organization, and they own the Second City Theater. So I did take some improv skill lessons there, theater classes, and just basically, it's just fun to play. In the words of one of my favorite people is Santa True. This is a safe space. Let's have fun. Let's play. We're not going to judge each other. We're all here to help each other become the best Santas, Christmas performers, Mrs. Clauses that they are. And with all the schools listed, I think that's the main goal for all of them. I'm looking at some of the comments come across. Santa Nanas is a wonderful thing as well, too. And it really is something that I think Mrs. Clauses should get into to be able to play across. And even for those out there that aren't quite sure if they want to grow the beard or put on a designer one, be an elf. Learn to control the lines for Santa. Learn to actually entertain people in line. So when they come up and see Santa, they're not grumpy. And whether that's singing, dancing, telling stories, this is the fun part about what we get to do. And one of the fun part is as long as you believe it, you can actually convince anybody else out there that it could be true. A fun little story I have is I was Santa and a 12-year-old boy came up to me who didn't quite believe. His little brother was all happy, he was all excited. And he looked at me and you could just tell that in that eye. So I looked at my wife, who was the photographer, and I said, Miss Stacy, do you have a pencil? And she got me a pencil real quick. And I know you all seen the joke. When you take the little eraser and you go like this and you make it turn to rubber, but it's actually this one. I did this trick for this 12-year-old boy. And you know what he told his mom when he left? He goes, Mom, I think that may have been the real Santa. And it's just a simple thing, but because of your integrity and what you're trying to perform, that's the key. And if you can make somebody like that believe, then oh goodness, let him sit down now with the map of how Santa gets around the world, or as you can see in the background, my little moving elf who's saying no right now, or all kinds of different fun little things that you have going on. This is what the schools, in my opinion, need to teach, and this is what we all need to share. And if we're all doing the same thing, then you know what? We all are going to be better, because why? We're better together. I know. I'll step down off the soapbox and I'll tie myself back up again.
So
Okay.
true. So true. That is right, man. We are better together, and that is something that because you do a lot of stuff with maps, and you made a comment about that. And now that you're the VP, what like? I mean, I guess you kind of answered the question already. What kind of things would you like to make sure everybody learns through maps, and of course in the community? I think you kind of answered that, but maybe you can a little bit more.
Like, I mean, it's an honor to be the vice president of this organization. Now, I found the organization simply by mistake, but they've been so welcome to me as a new Santa. And it's the people that I've met through the organization that has really helped me out and to allow me to be able to express myself. And this is what I want to continue. I want to bring other Santas in. And again, I think in some groups, we all look for the traditional, hey, you have a beard and you can maybe fill out that suit. You should be a Santa. Well, it's not just that. I have a feeling, right, Randall, it's right in your heart. Because you know, one thing I learned about being a designer bearded Santa or just a Christmas performer in general is you can teach anybody those skills, but it's what's in here that makes it credible. And that's the important part of it. I mean, yes, as Randall kind of pointed out in some of the biography, I grow a beard very randomly throughout the entire year. But in my opinion, by the time it comes to December or the season starts, it doesn't look to where I want it to be. And my idea of what Santa is. And I think that's the other key that some of the schools need to teach is you have to figure out what your Santa is and what his world's like. And being a VP of this wonderful group, I get to have some say so in the curriculum that we teach. Now, that's one of the things too with maps that is great. There are many groups out there that raise money for different charities to help the children within the different communities. One of the things that maps pride itself on is we take over the area of training to bring people up to speed so they can actually go out and perform as Santa. And we don't use this time to for the charity aspect of it. We're very generous when we do give the donations out to the charities, but at the same time too, we're more concerned with education, training, and then bringing people in and showing them how they too can be a Santa or a Christmas performer.
Like I agree, Michael. We definitely focus more on the fellowship and everything else of Santa and Mrs. Claus, and that really is a powerful thing. I mean, schools are fantastic. They're a necessity for everybody to go, and there's so many great schools out there. Um, but like you said, you can't teach heart. You can teach how to put a beard on. You can teach how to bleach it white. You can teach those things. You can't teach heart, and that's something a good Santa and Mrs. Claus needs more than anything. You hit it right on the nail.
Now, again, I would also like to throw in there too is for those that are interested in maps, because we are taking people from all over, it would be www.michigansantas.org. And one of the nice things that we do, especially during the off season, is the first Friday of every month, we get together on Zoom. Usually it's during lunchtime. And we just come out with a fellowship going, hey, is anybody working on anything? Do you need help? Or do you have any ideas on, again, where can I get my suit clean? Tips and tricks to actually deodorize, say, a suit. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
She thanked you on the spot, didn't she?
She's right on there.
She
She's right
is.
on
She's
there. It's
awesome.
fantastic. Fantastic. I
We're gonna.
do have a little special question though. There made a comment about you can sit back and kind of watch because you don't have the real beard. Have you ever through the years, like just kind of been with a bunch of Santas and say, Santa, why don't you go and do like a little quick show for somebody, like a little video, or have you ever done that? Kind of put another Santa on the spot by any chance?
I do that all the time.
Oh, okay, all the time.
I do that for anybody. Working with Michael Howe, Santa Michael Howe, I am renowned. One of the fun things that we did do is when we attended Brothers Claus, Stephen Leon came up with this novel idea with line stoppers. So we had a half hour for lunch, and we left the hotel, drove to Bronner's, picked up what we needed, and I convinced him. Well, not really convince is a right word. I forced him to actually do 3 virtual visits and a magic trick for a little child. And we still ended up getting lunch and still got back within 30 minutes. Because why? Anybody who's driven with me knows that, yes, you take your life in your own hands. So, but it's wonderful to see Santas when I do stuff like this, um, to see how fast they turn into. And I'm sure you all had the experiences. Santa, can I get a selfie with you? Well, I'll do one better. You know, who am I talking to? It is, well, hello, Angela. Yes, it's me, Santa from the North Pole. And you know what? Guess who I'm here with? Tilt the phone a little bit. And then, well, you know, they told me that you've been such a good girl this year, and the elves had confirmed it. So I'll definitely be seeing you on Christmas Eve this year. And that's how simple it is. But the fear factor, it's funny because most people when they see Santa is like, oh, you must be an extrovert. You must be just really out there and crazy. Yes, we all are a little bit crazy. But yet at the same time, too, some of the Santas are introverts. And until they put on the red suit, or in my case, the beard, or fall behind the little ears and the nose, you take on a whole different persona. And you're allowed then to be loud. You're allowed to be a little bit crazy. And that's one of the fun things with this. And as Randall just pointed out, I love to do. I love putting people out there because you know what? Again, especially you real bearded Santas, you never know when you're going to be called into action. And another fun story is last year at Charles Howard, we were all waiting in line to go to dinner at the Zenders in Frankenmuth. And there was a couple there, and they kept looking up and down. I mean, when you got about 200 Santas and Mrs. Clauses, you make a statement. Well, this one gentleman comes up, and he was actually from France. And he goes, I bet you don't have a French-speaking Santa, do you? I said, hold on 1 minute. Turned right around, gave my bag, hold my bag. I came back with a Santa that spoke very little French, but enough to get the point across. And the gentleman was just overjoyed. He got a picture, he got a video. Why? Because I keep my ears open for those little special talents each one has, and that's what's fun to play with. I never want to embarrass a Santa. I always have fun making them better. And that's the key to everything.
You know, you speak of the heart. I think, another very important role that Santa has to take on and religiously take to heart is listening. I mean, like you said, listening is very important.
I mean, again, some of the keys for being a Santa is communication. It's not just being able to speak, it's being able to hear and understand. And not just from a child's perspective, but from adults and from others as well. And again, those are the different keys that I think can actually make Santas really good. And I think that's some of the things that a lot of the Santa schools address And that's what's important about attending a school or finding a group that takes active roles into promoting training.
Absolutely. All right. So there's been a couple of questions already about Spangle. Spangle had to go. He had someone come in. You know, his office is in the store where he does the show from. He had somebody come in the store wanting to buy some stuff, and you know Spangle's not going to pass up a dollar, so he
Heck
comes
no.
out to take care of the customer. So if he has time to get back on, he will. If he doesn't, we'll catch him later on. So moving on, I'm going to take on the part of myself and Spangle here. I don't know how crazy I can get at Spangle, but anyway, you mentioned about your 4 memorable moments, Herbie. Michael, can you tell us about those?
Oh, that'd be my pleasure. Well, one of my first memorable moments is the first time I was Herbie. And this just happened this past summer. I was working with Santa Michael, and he was doing a campground, and he invited me to come up and aid in the show. And it was just so much fun to be able to have somebody to play off of and to add additional things. We taught the kids and the adults the reindeer Macarena. And if you've never seen it, get with me and I will show you how it works, because it's a really good icebreaker and it's very simple. It's Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph. And that's all it is. So it's a little bit fun to have with the kids and the adults as well. Another special moment to me is because of COVID and doing virtual, I was actually asked to do a Santa visit for what is a cook school here in Novi, Michigan, which is special needs. And I was on the call and I was using a little bit of sign language that I knew. But what touched my heart was there was one little boy, his name was Joaquin, and he was just asking all these questions and he's very engaging. Well, when we entered the call, I was talking to the principal and she got a phone call, and it turned out to be Joaquin calling from home. And he wanted the principal to let Santa know that he loves Santa so much and he can't wait to see him on Christmas Eve. And that moment right there really truthfully touched my heart. And another first for me and a magical moment was the first time I got up and told a jump tail story to a group of school children, and literally had the effect pull off the way it's supposed to. And I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a storyteller and you can get the reactions that you are intended to get, it is like a drug, and you want to keep doing that same thing. It's important, and it's a great feeling, and I can't tell you how much fun it was. And the very last memorable moment is a moment such as this. And each time I get an opportunity to share what I've learned that I picked up as a Christmas performer and in past lives, but I get an opportunity to share it with others. It's so much fun to get to talk with like-minded people, whether it's a Christmas performer, an elf, Mrs. Claus, or Santa. This is the best time that I can possibly have. And I like to make myself available to each and every one of you that would have any questions or anything that I can try to help with. And I guess those are the 4 memorable moments I have.
Randy?
That's great, man. Yeah, they're very cool, especially the one with the little guy in the school, man. That's like, I mean, just to add that depth. I mean, you just made his years, and that's what it's so much about. I mean, that's when it really go, oh my gosh, it worked, I did it. That's fantastic. That's cool. That's cool. I got yes yes, I do have one little. This is an easy short question. Actually, let's do this one first. We got a minute or two yet. We're not being kicked off yet, Bob. Can you tell everybody a little bit about when you weren't really Herbie, but you were at the Renaissance Festival with a bunch of Santas, and you were talk about Mr. Organization, guys. This was fun. Herbie. Well, it wasn't Herbie at the time. It was
my lovely wife still looks at me and goes, "You were crazy that day." What we ended up doing is last year we have the Michigan Renaissance Festival that basically is from August through September, and I think Texas has a big one as well. And we had about 15 Santas all decide that they wanted to attend the Renaissance Festival. So we had Santas. Now, mind you, I was the only unbearded Santa there. So I ended up getting myself a little gesture hat, wore a Renaissance purple shirt with black pants and boots. And I was playing tour guide to Santa. And again, this is where all that improvisational comes into play, because as we were walking around, it literally looked like a parade of Santas. And the fun part was none of the Santas dressed alike. We had one Santa that wore his full garb, including continental coat from Santa's tailor. It was beautiful. I looked point blank at him and goes, "You sit down on that bench, I guarantee you could charge $5 a person to get your picture taken with them right there, because these Renaissance people will do stuff like that." But one person was like, "I didn't know there were so many Santas." And I'm like, "Oh, well, of course there's so many Santas. You know, you have Santa Claus and you have Saint Nick, then you have Pierre Noel and Father Christmas, and you have the North Pole Santas and the South Pole." These people were believing everything that I was saying. And this is it. It was just like, okay, what's going on next? What's going on next? Well, then all the Santas get invited to see Her Highness, the Queen of the Renaissance Festival. And of course, all the Santas got up there and they all wanted to sing. So what did the tour guide do? He was out there to hype up the crowd. And literally, I was running from section to section, getting people to sing and dance and have a good time. So I guess, too, what comes down to it is, even if you're not dressed as Santa, but you're with a bunch of Santas, you can still have fun. But you always have to remember that Santa's the rock star. And you are there for support. But you can also be a little star in your own mind, too. But you never want to upstage the big guy. And that's the part there that I think people need to look at and make sure that they're doing. Good question, Randall. That was fun.
Mike did it. He did a phenomenal job being, just getting everybody together and getting, just the improv he had was just, and that's what we've talked about. Santa is so much is the improv, and he just, boom, just ran with it. What a day. What a day.
Well,
so I just wanted to sneak that one in quick, but.
I'm sorry, Randy. I thought you threw.
Go ahead. I'm sorry about. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I proclaim on this day that everyone needs a Herbie.
Exactly. We should make stuffed Herbies.
Fantastic. All right, Randy, over to you for the next one.
Speaking of stuffed Herbies, maybe this will do it. What is your favorite cookie? This will stuff Herbie.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? This is funny because after taking the Santa and the Driver workshops, I like starting answering the questions in rhyme and song. And there's a book out there, and it's just like, what's my favorite cookie? I'm often asked that a lot. So much, in fact, that I decided to write it down. Oh, I do love those sugar cookies and oatmeal raisin when they're warm and soft. But my true favorite cookie is anyone that's round. And that's it. Never give a name because you never know why or what the experience is with the family. But whether it's round, store-bought, homemade, hey, I'm good with it. I do like a cookie. But as for Herbie, as for Mike, it's definitely oatmeal raisin or snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles, man. I'm sorry. That's the best word out there, snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles is just fun to say even if you don't like the cookie.
Smile. It does. That's a cool one. I guess we got some more questions for Mike there. Let me see.
Well, we're going to go into Ask the Viewers if anyone out there has got any
that's
comments.
the next one. That is the question I got. Is the next question. Any viewers got any questions for Mike? And
please, ask away.
I know Michael Howe's out there, so I'm sure he's got a comment about her.
Oh, Michael's out there. Mel's out there. There's a bunch. I've seen AJ out there.
Too, and there's a lot of great people watching.
Charlie Johnson's asking for 15 more minutes, please.
Got a great crew tonight. Yeah, Michael, it's and what's cool about it is especially with Michael, he can help on both sides because he has experienced Santa and what he goes through, so help us that way, and he can help on the other side assist Santa, which is such a gift for someone, for anybody that's working together.
Gosh, makes me want to shave my beard off and go buy a traditional beard and play both parts.
There's some Santas out there that will say, you know what? Having a designer beard is because I can look like anything. I can look Edwin Gwynn style, or I can go St. Nicholas. All depends what I want. It looks like somebody asked, do you make your own cookies? Well, I love to bake, but cookies have never been one of my favorite things to bake. It's cupcakes. And let me tell you, I came up with a great cupcake recipe that uses champagne. And it's a champagne frosting, and it's delightful, delightful, delightful. Now, as for Melissa has asked, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? That is a good one. I think one of the best Christmas traditions that I do have is the opportunity to, when everything is all decorated and lit up, to be able to sit in the dark with the Christmas lights on and having It's a Wonderful Life in the background playing. Because all the hustle and bustle is done, and it's just so much nicer just to be able to sit there and relax. What other? Charlie's saying carolers bring in Bruns crackers, a Swedish cookie. Ooh, now we could be like the Swedish chef from the Muppets. Yay, but snabber doo doo doo.
Why my name not coming up? That you have to go over to the StreamYard and allow Facebook. It's actually through Facebook, but you have to do it through StreamYard. Allow Facebook to let StreamYard use your name and profile picture, because StreamYard is a third-party app, and that's why it's not coming up on our screen. Now, if you're watching on Facebook, it does come up in the comments, but in our studio, it does not unless you granted permission first. Okay.
It looks like Santa Kevin has asked, when was the first time you went to Charles W. Howard? Santa Kevin, that was in 2019 before crazy COVID hit. And it was fun, but I am totally different now than I was back in 2019. I was a little shy because I was overwhelmed by 300 plus Santas and Mrs. Clauses all singing. So it was kind of crazy that day. But yep, it was in 2019. And that was the first time I went to Charles W. Howard.
Now I'm sure you take the front row.
Yeah, I usually take like off to stage right, but about the fourth or fifth row, because that way I can run all over the place. So it's better when you're teaching, so that way you don't have to look like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. So
makes sense.
Sure does. Wow.
What other questions we have here?
Wow. Anybody else have any questions or comments with Herbie here? It's been a crazy cool night. I mean, really is.
Like I said, I've lived very many lifetimes and stuff. Have you ever been able to convince clients to hire an elf as opposed to Santa when their budgets dictate what they pay for? That's a very good question. I've never had that opportunity. The Herbie character has basically just come up more as an assistant, and most of the time I'm not looking for anything from it. It's much different than Santa when you're basically sitting there as taking pictures or doing all that other fun stuff, where I get to be out in the blue and just have fun. So to answer your question, Deanna, no, I've never had that opportunity as opposed. But one of the things that you can actually use, and this is something that you may be able to share with your clients, is if you're doing an outdoor event or something that's going to be a long line for photos, it's always good to have an elf or a wrangler there to, one, help Santa when he needs to, two, act as a bouncer, and three, provide entertainment in those long lines so people aren't getting irate by the time they do come up for their picture.
Yeah.
And let's see here is where there's another quote. Jim Tate asked, how did you come up with the name Herbie? Well, the Maps group was having a barbecue up north in Michigan, and there's so many people by the name of Michael. I mean, how many Santa Michaels does everybody really know? I bet you can have more than 5 in the long run. Well, as we're sitting around barbecue. Somebody said Michael. I turned my head. Michael Howell turned their head. And basically at that point there, Michael says, "Oh, we're going to start calling you Herbie." And then my lovely wife popped up, "Oh, the love bug." And Herbie, the love bug, has taken off. And for the last 3 years, that's what I've been called is Herbie.
We don't
So.
call you the love bug, though. Just your
No, the love bug was kind of left there. So
All right, so I don't see any other questions at this point. So we'll keep monitoring to make sure nobody throws anything else in. At this point, though, I'm going to go ahead and reveal tonight's trivia answers. The Sleigh Driver Apparel. What famous magician died on Halloween and what day of the week and what year? That was Harry Houdini. It was on a Sunday, of course, October 31st, as we revealed, and that was in 1936. And again, that was in Michigan, as Randy had mentioned.
26. Should be 26.
26, I'm sorry.
26.
And the winner is?
Scott Becker.
Scott Becker is our winner for that one. Fantastic. Good job, brother. All right, so the answer for the Stuff for Santas and schoolofsantas.com. What was the song and artist playing while Clark was in the attic? That is The Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles. Fantastic song. All right, Randy, over to you for the next one.
The winner.
Next one.
Oh, we got to get to the winner. The winner?
The winner.
Melissa Lynn.
Melissa Lynn. How about this?
Aw.
Fantastic.
yay!
Good job.
Great job. Great job.
Comment.
I just want to remind everybody about next Tuesday night. Of course, next Tuesday night is in fact, his name just came up right there, is Greg Switch. The man that knows the green screen better than anybody. He can, it's cool how he walks around. Like I said, I hate to keep on bothering you guys about that wormhole, but man, he's got to show you that. It is just fantastic. But I mean, ask Greg. He is the wizard of the green screen. He really is. So don't forget next Tuesday night for that.
I nicknamed him the Green Screen King. So
And that's an appropriate name for him as well. He did have a question though, and
What's
he
that?
wanted to know if myself and Michael use Stephen Gillam's Smart Santa system. And I can tell you this: Michael Howell has purchased the system, but we have yet to have an opportunity to actually go ahead and use it. It's a great. If anybody who doesn't know what Smart Santa is, it's a wonderful way for Santa to be able to have communication with an assistant who would be able to feed Santa all the information to when it comes to the challenge questions, such as Santa, what's my name? Santa, all the other fun questions that you have. So yes, Greg, Michael does have it. We haven't had an opportunity to experiment with it, but it is something that we're probably going to look at doing here in the near future.
And as
Amazing
Steve
system,
and
it
Deb
really
teach
is.
in their sessions,
Yes, and if you
points of information known about a child, and you instantly are the real Santa to that child.
because you never want to use your Santa magic to prove that you are the true Santa, because then you end up losing your credentials and you stop being Santa. So
That's
you
right.
can't have that now.
So was there any other questions, Angela? Did we get them all?
I think I got them all.
I think we got them all. Okay, fantastic. So, Michael, is there anything that we didn't cover tonight that you want to throw in at this point? Maybe a website or
Well, in all honesty, if you want to reach out to me really quickly, you can reach out to me at clausandcompany@gmail.com. I'm in the process of creating a website. So that is one way you can reach out to me. Please, if you have a question or you want to know anything more about me, just please feel free to use that email. But I'd also like to say thank you so much, Bob, Angela in the background, Randall, Spangle. It's been so much fun that, oh my goodness, I didn't think it was going to be as much fun as we had. And I hope that you guys had as much fun to learn about me.
Well, now, this season is full. We've got 4 shows left after tonight, 4 Monday shows and 4 shows for the Tuesday Night Live. But I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I'm going to have you and Michael Howell on together next year in the beginning of the season, within the first few weeks, if you guys are available. So I'll reach out to you on that, but we got to have you back, man.
Well, I know I will be, but you better book at least 3 hours if you're going to put Michael and I in the same video spot there.
Oh, he was so much fun when we had him on before, and I know you guys together are a hoot. So
Oh yeah, we
but that's something to look forward to the beginning of the 2023 season for the Tuesday Night Live show. And hey, I think Randy would agree. Maybe we can get you on the Monday show with us a couple of times next year, and kind of be a co-host like Randy was tonight. We'd love for that to happen.
it would be an honor and a privilege to be able to be on the same shows with both of you again.
That'd be fantastic. Randy, you got any final thoughts, brother?
No, again, I just want to thank Michael for being here and making us all smile like crazy. I mean, that's the best part. I said it to him, and I this word is positive, but it sounds weird. He's very infectious. He really is. He really makes you feel good when you watch him, because he means it, and that smile. So it's just great to watch him and listen to him. So thank you so much, Michael, and of course, always thanks Spangle. Thank Bob and Angela back there, and cool Scott for that buckle. Man, what a night! And the other winners for Slave Driver and everything else. Man, what a great night! Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget Monday afternoon show at 3:00. Well, 3:00, 4:00 for me. But 3:00, our Monday Bob Randall and Company, and of course every Tuesday night for the next few weeks the Halloween show, and then the wrap-up show coming up. Boy, it'll be at the
and the panel, the 10 roundtable panel that we'll have coming up, and Greg, of course, next week. I got to say though, right here, when Michael Howell was on, I literally woke up with sore sides the next morning. Tonight, my cheeks are killing me from smiling and laughing so much. I can't imagine having you both on at the same time. I'll be hurt. You got a body bag.
You're going to be putting traction on the next day.
Fantastic.
What a great way to be, though. What a great way to go. I mean, that's what we need in life. I mean, that's what, thumbs up, you guys. I mean, that really is. Thank you for all that.
For sure. All right, so we want to say thank you, Michael, so much, man. What a great show. What a fantastic time. Thank you, Randall, for coming on, being our co-host. Thanks to Scott Parker for the buckle drawing that he had. And I want to say thanks to Elf Angela. So a big thank you to Derek Dugan at Slave Driver Apparel, StuffForSanta.com, and SchoolOfSantas.com, our very own Spangle. Our recorded videos can be seen on Facebook group and our YouTube channel at the Tuesday Night Live Show. Also, remember the Bob, Randall and Company live preview show has its own YouTube channel now. Go over and visit it. That's where everything is stored from all the past episodes. I counted up today, and we've done close to 70 shows between the last season and this season. And looking forward to next season where we can do a whole lot more. We'll get into that more towards the next few weeks. And gosh, Randy, tell everybody good night.
Man, everybody, thank you again so much. Everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy, and most of all, stay magical. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Michael. Thank Angela. And everybody that joined us. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. See you soon.
Can you tell them what time the show is? Somebody's asking what time the show is.
Which show are we talking about? Someone's asking about the shows. Our two shows are on Monday. The Bob, Randall and Company live preview show is 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, tonight's show on Tuesday night, we've been on for 2 seasons, 70 shows, and we've always aired at 7 p.m., and that is Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, guys, remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, 7 p.m. Central, same clause time, same clause channel. Count your blessings, not your sorrows. Have a blessed week. Until next time, on behalf of Michael, Randall, Scott Parker, Spangle, Angela, and myself, I'm Santa Bob McMaster saying good night. Remember, always let your Santa and Mrs. Claus heart shine bright. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Here we go.
All right, guys, I got a new mic out. Is that working better?